This is the final broadcast of the Terran Confederacy. A message echoing across the void, meant for any species with ears to hear, and perhaps a soul to comprehend. For generations, for nearly 3 long decades, we extended an open hand, a gesture of profound peace. We offered treaties, shared our discoveries, and sought genuine understanding. Yet, our overtures were consistently met with derision, with suspicion, and ultimately, with unprovoked, brutal violence. You, the hegemony, and all who stood by in silent complicity, mistook our kindness for weakness. You interpreted our patience as fear, our desire for harmony as a lack of resolve. That, we now declare, was your final, your most fatal error. To those listening across the spiral arm, across the countless light years, pay very close attention. You are about to witness, not just the fury, but the calculated, devastating retribution of a species you have foolishly, irrevocably awakened. For 2 centuries, humanity played the polite, eager guest at the galactic dinner table. We were the newcomers, wide-eyed and hopeful, bringing gifts and goodwill. We shared the secrets of fusion reactors, clean energy that could power entire worlds, freely. We taught advanced hydroponics to species like the methane breathers of Xylos, ensuring their survival and prosperity. We even, in a gesture of pure, unadulterated cultural exchange, traded Grandma's apple pie recipe with beings that genuinely had no word for sweet in their lexicon, whose palates knew only the bitter tang of space dust. The galaxy, in its infinite wisdom, merely nodded, perhaps offered a condescending pat on our collective head, and filed Terrans under harmless, useful, soft. We were seen as a convenient, if somewhat naive, resource. We built wonders. Sprawling gardens on barren asteroids, transforming dead rock into vibrant ecosystems. We established libraries inside nebulae, crystalline structures housing the accumulated knowledge of 1,000 worlds, open to all. Our string of embassies, designed for diplomacy and cultural exchange, looked more like intricate glass-blowing studios, delicate and inviting, than any kind of fortress. Every treaty we signed, every alliance we forged, carried the same quiet, unspoken clause. We prefer to build. We prefer to create. And for a while, for a precious, fleeting while, that was enough. Trade routes flourished, carrying goods and ideas across vast distances. Mixed species jazz bands, a vibrant symphony of disparate cultures, toured the Orion Spur, their music a testament to what cooperation could achieve. No one, not even we ourselves, seemed to remember that Earth, our cradle world, had once torn itself apart in 20 separate, bloody wars. We embraced the label peacemakers, felt truly like progress, felt like we had finally transcended our darker past. Then, the hegemony arrived, not with diplomacy, not with understanding, but with antimatter lances burning bright and a philosophy best summed up as, "Only the loud, only the strong deserve to breathe." They had no interest in our peace. They laughed, a dry, rasping sound that echoed through our comms. When we pleaded for talks, for negotiation, they laughed harder, a cruel, mocking cackle, when we offered them food, resources, anything to avert conflict. And then, without hesitation, they vaporized half of Earth. In the time it takes to brew a cup of coffee, half our world was gone. Luna's silver face, our faithful companion in the night sky, turned to terrifying, reflective gold with the inferno's reflected fire. Australia, that ancient, resilient continent, became a shimmering, radioactive glass coastline. 42 billion voices, 42 billion lives, became nothing but static, a silent scream in the void. I was on the embassy station at Luton B when the news hit. The corridors, usually bustling with the quiet hum of interstellar life, went so utterly silent you could hear the coolant pumps weep, a mechanical sob in the stillness. It wasn't just grief that choked us. It was a profound, suffocating shame. We had clung to peace so fiercely, so desperately, that it felt like an insurmountable strength. But on that day, as the images of our burning home flashed across every screen, it looked like nothing more than flimsy wrapping paper around a bomb we had refused to admit we owned. A weapon we had hoped, foolishly, we would never need to detonate. The irony was a bitter taste in our mouths. Ambassador Chun Wei's broadcast, delivered from the crumbling ruins of what was once the United Nations building, lasted 93 agonizing seconds. 93 seconds for the entire galaxy to learn a fundamental truth. Humans, despite their gentle exterior, keep meticulous receipts. She stood in front of a viewport framing Earth's smoldering remains, her cheeks still blistered from the atmospheric flash of the orbital bombardment. She spoke, not with hysteria, but with the chilling precision of a master carpenter measuring twice before making the final, irreversible cut. She did not scream. She did not beg. She informed. Her voice, steady amidst the chaos, carried a weight that transcended mere words. We tried your way. We extended every courtesy. Now you will meet the other side of humanity. The feed, saturated with the raw data of destruction, then cut to black. Across the spiral arm, in countless war councils, species huddled, convinced it was a bluff. After all, the Terran military budget had been public, minuscule, ceremonial, a mere token gesture to ancient traditions. They had no idea. They could not comprehend that the real ledger, the true accounting of human resolve, was kept off-world, meticulously recorded in pen by people who still remembered the visceral horror of trench warfare, the searing pain of firebombing nights, the primal scream of a species pushed to its absolute breaking point. They didn't understand that our peace was a choice, not a licitation. While our embassies taught etiquette, while our diplomats negotiated trade routes and cultural exchanges, a profoundly different core taught itself extinction math. This was not a public endeavor. It was a shadow existence, a deep-seated contingency. General Hayes, a name whispered only in the darkest, most secure facilities, ran the moon base you'll never find on any star chart. It was a hollowed-out chunk of Charon, our distant, icy companion, packed not with telescopes, but with simulators. These ran every conceivable alien anatomy, every known physiology, through unimaginable stress test simulations. How much pressure, precisely, snaps a Kethvar warrior's carapace? Which pheromone mix, perfectly synthesized, triggers absolute, uncontrollable panic in a hive mind of the Verdani? For 50 long years, these soldiers, these silent guardians, played the long game. They learned to speak like merchants, to mimic the cadences of diplomacy, all while memorizing the kill corridors, the structural weaknesses, the neural pathways of every potential adversary. Marcus Chen, yes, the ambassador's own brother, a man whose quiet demeanor belied a steel-cold resolve, commanded the 13th Black Fleet. This armada was assembled not in visible shipyards, but from factory ships, disguised as unremarkable cargo haulers, their true purpose hidden beneath layers of commercial transponders. Each vessel, to the untrained eye, looked like a kludge of spare parts, an inefficient patchwork of salvaged components. But inside, beneath the deceptively mundane hulls, they were anger distilled into hull plating, vengeance forged into weapon systems. No one noticed their true nature. No one wanted to notice. It was easier, far cheaper, to pretend that the alternative to peace, the absolute, terrifying alternative, was simply impossible. Humanity had built a ghost in the machine, and the galaxy was about to meet it. The hegemony, basking in their perceived victory, expected surrender broadcasts. Perhaps a few desperate, suicidal runs from what they imagined was a broken, insignificant foe. What they got instead was a moon, a seemingly innocuous celestial body, disappearing from its charted orbit, only to reappear above their capital world at half-light speed, a kinetic impactor of unimaginable destructive force. They got AI drones, swarms of them, nanite-infused terrors that chewed through their data nets like termites through balsa, unraveling their command and control in moments. They got human marines, clad in advanced exosuits, each armor plate painted with the names of Earth's lost provinces, New York, Australia, the Amazon breaching hegemony hulls with cutting songs older than spaceflight itself, ancient war chants echoing through alien corridors within 30 hours. The hegemony armada, once vaunted as invincible, was nothing more than debris, seasoning 3 star systems with shattered metal and extinguished lives. Within 40 hours, their homeworld sky, once a vibrant blue, was a swirling vortex of ash and glass, a monument to their hubris. We didn't occupy. We didn't conquer. We erased. We cleansed. The way you erase a mistake that almost cost you everything, a cancer that threatened to consume your very being. The galaxy watched, not with understanding, but with the stunned, terrified silence of someone who just realized the harmless puppy they once patted on the head possessed carbon steel teeth, razor-sharp claws, and a primal, unyielding will to survive. The quiet ones, it turned out, were the ones to truly fear. When the extinction protocols were finally, reluctantly cancelled, when the last hegemony stronghold had fallen silent, the Terran fleets did not return to bases. There were no triumphant parades, no celebratory fanfares. They simply parked. They deployed, with chilling precision, within striking distance of every council seat, every major trade hub, every strategically vital world in the galaxy. And then life resumed. Trade, that eternal constant, began again, but with a profoundly altered dynamic. Freight captains, once dismissive, now offered us the best cuts, the juiciest contracts, the widest, most secure berths in their ports. Species that once lectured us on ethics, on the supposed barbarity of our past, now asked for permission before even daring to enter the same quadrant of space. They now understood the cost of their scorn. We did not celebrate. How could we? We stood in the ruins of our birthplace, our cradle, and stared at constellations that used to feel like comforting maps, now alien and cold. We felt the hollow, echoing chill of a victory bought with our own mirror's darker half, a victory that had irrevocably changed us. Some humans, those who still clung to the dream of what we once were, left for frontier worlds, determined to rebuild the gentle culture we had lost, to cultivate peace anew. Others, hardened by the fires of war, enlisted, convinced that peace is only truly real, only truly secure, if someone terrifying, someone utterly uncompromising, keeps the watch. Both groups, divergent in their paths, share the same haunting nightmare. That next time, we won't wait to be attacked. Next time, the preemptive strike might be the only viable option. So, if you're listening out there, if your sensors picked up this transmission, remember this: humanity still prefers to plant gardens. We still write soaring love poems under alien skies. We still teach our children the fundamental lesson of sharing, of cooperation, of empathy. But those children now learn another lesson right after the first. They learn how to hit back, how to retaliate with such devastating, overwhelming force that the void itself echoes with the sheer, unadulterated terror of it. We tried peace. We chose peace first with every fiber of our collective being. Yet, the final, chilling line of Ambassador Chun Wei's broadcast, a testament to our transformation, is now carved into the hulls of every battle-hardened vessel drifting silently above Mars, a permanent, indelible warning. You will never again wonder whether we can win a war. You will only wonder whether we can stop before there is nothing left to save. Keep that wonder alive. Keep that question burning in your minds. For in the shadow of that terrible uncertainty, that fear of our own unleashed power, lies the closest thing to safety the galaxy now has.